Hello everyone, and welcome back to this new episode of Learn Well podcast. As every week, also this week, we are gonna have an international guest, and this time our guest is coming from another continent. Yeah, today we're gonna have with us Moin. He's from Tunisia, and he's gonna tell us and talk with us a bit more about his experience as a youth worker, as an educator, as a trainer in these, let's say, travels around Europe through Erasmus Plus programs. So welcome back to Learn Well podcast, and yeah, as mentioned, today we are gonna have with us Moin, and yeah, as usual, I will not tell much about him because I will ask him directly to introduce himself and tell us a bit more about what he does, and yeah, and how come he ended up like being a project coordinator, or trainer, and so on and so far. Moin, you there?
Yes, I am. Hello, Tony. I will start by introducing myself, I guess, as you said. So my name is Môuin Meddeb. I'm from Tunisia, originally from a town called Nebel, a smaller town as well called Marmora, which is very near the beach. I'm actually an electromechanical engineer, specialized in industrial engineering. I'm a freshly graduated student, and I guess that's it.
Okay. This was fast. This was fast. Okay.
I can say more if you want. I don't know.
Yeah, tell us a bit more. Tell us a bit more, please.
Okay, so I heard you saying something about being a project coordinator. Well, I was the vice president of an organization named APLM, which is in French, Association Protection de Littoral de Marmora, which is a local organization specialized in environmental organization, working especially to protect the flora and to work with youth empowerment using different methods and using different projects and ideas. Well, I was the vice president for 2 years, and now, let's say after graduation, I stepped back to leave the place for someone else.
Okay. Thank you for this little bit addition to your introduction. And yeah, so what I prepared as a questions for you is in exactly going to this direction of going a bit more to understand how come you ended up doing this, to being a project manager and actually also facilitating activities in Erasmus Plus programs, and also for APLM, like as you mentioned. How it happened for you that you approached this world and you became part of it.
All right, so that brings me back to good memories, let's say. So that brings me back to my first Erasmus Plus experience. That was in Malta with an organization named Prisms. I think you're familiar with the organization. So my first project was with Prism as a normal participant. It was improvising theater project, tackling the refugees and inclusion problem as well. So for me, the concept was a new concept, and I really enjoyed being with different people from different nationalities, and the idea itself really triggered me at that certain point. So I started asking questions as well, and to be honest, I found a lot of support from people working there. They supported me with necessary documents. They supported me with the information that I need for my own development and to understand what the Erasmus project is and how we can participate in such projects, how we can create those projects, the ideas we should concentrate on, and so on and so on. And from that point, I decided to join this organization in my hometown and include those ideas into the organization. So the Erasmus Plus projects were part of my organization when I started working there. It was my personal addition, let's say. And I found all the support I needed as well here in my hometown. And from that point, I started being more focused in working on my own projects, or being, let's say, a project coordinator from that point.
Okay, thank you. I think I will ask you a bit more about your experience with APLM afterwards.
Yeah, sure.
But now there is a thing that actually I think it's pretty interesting also for the people that are listening to our podcast. It's like Tunisia. It's from North Mediterranean part of the Mediterranean area, and but yeah, it's still not Europe. And it's a neighboring country. It's a partner country in the Erasmus program. And then I'm pretty curious to hear from you as a person which lived in Europe, which a person that traveled a lot in Europe, as a person that worked in Europe and had many projects. And also as a young living in Tunisia, like how it is perceived Erasmus there, and how, like, if actually youth know about Erasmus, and if it's famous, if it's perceived as a cool thing to do, and like this sort of information. I don't know if you got what I mean with it.
Yes, I understand what you mean, Tony, and I have the perfect answer for that, because I don't know if you know that, but before 2011, which is the revolution in Tunisia, before 2011, we did not have access to YouTube, for example. We did not. So let's say for youngsters my age who lived in let's say, the era before 2011 and the one after 2011 can feel the difference. So for those category, or for those, I don't know, people who are in that specific age field, we can really relate to how the information got better after 2011. Because from my understanding and from where I live, living in Tunisia is very challenging from different point of view, because on the one hand, we are not part of Europe, or we are a neighbor country. And on the other hand, we are the closest country to Europe, or let's say the closest to Italy. We are practically neighbors. So for people my age, most of them only know Erasmus Plus from school, which is what the scholarship that Erasmus Plus gives, but have no idea about the projects, which are training courses, or youth exchange, or capacity building projects. From my experience, I discovered that people have no idea in Tunisia what those are. They only know Erasmus Plus because of their university, because the cooperation between their universities and other European universities, because of the scholarships that Erasmus Plus gives. So using the knowledge to create the network and work on projects such as we just talked about, youth exchange and capacity buildings, was something, from my experience, was something new to develop and new to work with. And even organizations I knew here in my hometown or in my country, there were not very much, or not a lot of organizations that were working on such topics. So,
yeah. Okay. And how do you think this like lack of knowledge about these opportunities? Because from my perspective, and I believe also from you that you had several, like, I believe it's a great chance and a great opportunity for youth to take. Like, how do you think this situation can be somehow not even changed? The change, it's a big word, I believe, but let's say tackled, like, and starting to move and proceed in a way to make it better, to make youth aware of these opportunities. How do you see this can be done in your country? Or at least let's say let's start from your town maybe, and then probably project it on a bigger scale.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. So my first answer would be awareness, to raise awareness about what Erasmus Plus is, what are the opportunities that can be developed from applying or from participating in such projects. And that can be done, I can say it's an effort that an organization can do, or in universities, in clubs, and in public places where youngsters usually spend the time. And that can be a very good point or a very good idea to develop or to explain what Erasmus Plus is and what are the benefits of participating or knowing the project itself.
Okay, and yeah, and now I wanted also to get back to the point about you being part of an organization in Tunisia, since I also know you organized a project there some time ago. I have my sources of information about this. So you're being, as you said, like vice president of PLM, and your involvement in the organization. Can you tell us a bit more also how it was for you to organize projects there, and like starting from scratch, as you said, in an environment in which you actually know very little about these topics, how it was for you to bring it to your own town and to arrange it, and yeah, and to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, I must say there is a quote I believe in, which is the answer is no until you ask. So unless you try yourself, or unless you ask the question, the answer will always be no. And that was something that triggered me to try and develop some projects in my hometown and try to do it myself and see if I am capable of doing that. And I think by that time, I received a lot of support from your side as well. I remember that was in Greece when we started developing the project that we did in Tunisia. And that was the time when we met, and the support I got from you and from the other parts encouraged me more to develop the idea and start to do this project or make it happen, and not leave it as scratch on papers or ideas on papers. So what happened is that we started from scratch, as you said, developed the ideas with the teamwork from Tunisia, Italy, Malta, Greece, all the countries that were participated in another youth exchange itself. And we made the idea happen and made it real. And that was like having a baby, let's say. That was the feeling of having your own baby after struggling and after spending nights without sleeping, scratching the ideas, putting everything together like a puzzle. That was an experience that changed my point of view, changed, let's say, my life. In other words.
Okay, yeah, I can guess. Like I believe it was pretty similar for me, like when I started back then. So I can relate to this feeling somehow. And yeah, I remember those times, like working on those files there together and to then make it happen. And yeah, another thing which I'm curious about, like how is and how it was, at least in the case of the projects that happened already, like the community of your town reacting to this. Like how I don't know, is there a sort of reaction in terms of interest, or like maybe repulsion, like not accepting these sort of things? Like how do you perceive it? Like welcoming, like, and hosting people from everywhere from Europe coming to the place and having projects. Like how is the community reacting to it, if there is any reaction, let's say?
Yeah, okay. So to answer that question, I must remind you that my hometown is, let's say, a touristic place. It's located very near the beach, so we receive a lot of tourists from different nationalities, different times of the year, especially in summer. So having some, let's say, people from different nationalities in this project was not a problem at all, because people, let's say, are used to that. They manage to speak English and French. Most of the Tunisians speak Arabic and French, and English is something, let's say, that can be used in your daily basis. The conditions were surprisingly good, because people that I was working with are used to working with other people from other, let's say, nationalities with other traditions. They knew the food that they need. They knew the traditions and what they need to do to please or to make it easier for other nationalities to be there, which is something I found not surprisingly bad, surprisingly good, let's say. And that helped me to manage to work with the project in a good environment and provide everything needed during the staying of the participants mostly.
Okay, yeah, I get it in a sense that yeah, it's being a touristic place. Obviously, it's like daily routine. So like having like
you
guests.
can visit me anytime.
Yeah, okay. We'll put some advertising in the description of the video, like with a visit Nabel, something like that. Okay, Moin, is there anything else that you want to add? Ah, you have friends. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. See, I'm thinking about everything at the same time. Okay, so what I want to say is that I would like to encourage people to discover what the Erasmus world means and what the Erasmus in general, how many opportunities it can create to youngsters in different fields actually. And what I want to encourage them to do is to look more into details, because they can find opportunities for people in different categories, different ages, different fields, even the time frame that they need. They can find from 1 week, 2 weeks, 2 months until 1 year. So it's up to them to decide what kind of experience they want to use. And it really can open their eyes to another world, let's say, because working with people from different backgrounds, working from people with different places, in different places, different origins, that gives them the ability to understand more how the world works and help them build their own personality and see how the world turns itself. So I would like very much to encourage youngsters from all around the world to discover what those opportunities can make for them.
Well, yeah,
I
can only
feel like
support.
I'm gonna be the next president of Tunisia, so I'm preparing my speech.
Yeah, training public speaking skills.
I learned that from the projects as well, from the public speaking. That helps a lot as well. Yeah, just adding 1 point to the youngsters to know what to do.
Yeah, but it's for sure it can be a big part of the projects proposed through Erasmus Plus and informal education. And I actually, if you allow me, I would actually mention something that you told me right before we started. Like, if you don't know, I don't know if Moin mentioned, he's an engineer, and just today he got news that he's gonna work as a project manager. And why I'm mentioning this is that I believe he started this thing being a project manager, actually working with Erasmus projects and with an NGO. And this to me is actually a proof that formal education projects and that these opportunities offered by Erasmus can actually have big impact on people's life, also on the work side. What do you say?
I would definitely agree with you, because as you said, working in Erasmus Plus as a project manager can help you learn how to deal with projects in general. You can learn techniques, you can learn what to do and how to do it in different terms and in the reality as well. Managing a project itself, as you said, is, for example, if you're managing a project for 45 persons from 9 countries, you have to deal with them, you have to manage them and prepare the course. You have to know how to build the community out of them. You will learn your skills by doing it, actually, and not only on written papers, because from my point of view, I studied project management at the university as well, but it was a whole different world when you have to practice it in real life with people in projects, as mentioned. And the work that I managed to get now is thanks to the experience I got from different projects. We worked in the refugees team and environment and different topics. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, that's a great news also. So yeah, congratulations on the new job. And okay, so yeah, from my side, that's it from today. If Moin doesn't, tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah, I can also tell people who are listening to me that one of the references that I mentioned during my interview was Tony himself, because we worked together before, and he knows how we deal with in the same, let's say, main phase or main way. So one of my contacts or references were Tony himself, so he can tell us more about me as well.
Well, yeah, might be we get another episode for this. So like we switch the roles. Oh, this is actually a good idea to do. Like we can
Yeah,
switch
next
roles.
time we can do that.
Yeah. Thank you for this. This can be a good point.
You're welcome.
Okay, so thank you, Moin, for what you told us today and for being with us today. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching this episode of Learn Well podcast. And as usual, stay tuned on our channels for the new episodes coming every week.